This is Carl at National RV Detroit. I'm going to walk us through this 2020 Forest River Salem travel trailer, model 27 RKS. So this is not a floor plan video, it's a how-to video. I'm just going to show you some of the features and how they work, okay? Alrighty, so here we are at the door side rear of the trailer. Okay, and we have a refrigerator here, works on 110 AC. We've got this pull-out here with a cooktop. You can see right there. It's an induction cooktop. Now, let's walk inside for a second, because this also has a fireplace. So there's a switch in here that'll allow you to choose between the fireplace right here or the cooktop here. So if I'm using the fireplace, I'll keep the switch in this position. If I'm going to be using the cooktop outside, I have to change it like that, okay? Just so you know, that is there. It has to do with amperage, so that the cooktop draws a lot, so does the fireplace, so you can't use them both at the same time. Okay, so back outside, you have a power awning with LED strip, of course, outside speakers. Now this is the fresh tank fill here. 9 times out of 10 you're going to be using city water. You just hook the hose up and you're ready to go. But if you're camping someplace that doesn't have plumbing on the campsite, like an old state park or some of the rustic campgrounds, you can fill this fresh water tank right here and then turn on the electric pump. I'll show you the switch when we get inside. You turn on the pump and it'll pump water, and everything will work as though you have city water. All the plumbing will work normally, okay? I'll show you the rest of the hookups on the other side, but keep in mind this is to fill the fresh water tank. And down here there's going to be, let me look around a bit here, right here, that gate valve right there, the white gate valve, that's where you dump your fresh water tank, okay? Alright, so moving towards the front, this is your hitch. It's a Husky centerline weight distribution hitch with built-in sway control, so it's a good one. We'll show you how it works when you pick up your trailer. And of course you have stabilizers here on each corner. It's just scissor type stabilizer, works with a 3/4 inch crank which comes with the trailer, or you can use a socket on a drill, whatever you want. Now keep in mind, this yellow piece is an added option. It's called a strong arm. That's a common term for it. So basically, when you extend your jack so that the trailer is stabilized, you can then tighten this T-handle up, and it'll keep the inner pole or the inner tube from sliding in the outer tube. So what that does is takes the forward and rearward movement out of it. So therefore, you just get a more stable trailer. But you have to keep in mind that when you're raising or lowering this jack, you always want this loose. When you get it down into the position you want it for stabilized, you tighten it. But before you bring it back up, you loosen it again. So it has to be loose anytime you're moving it up and down. Okay, so that's called a strong arm. Okay, so there's one of those on each corner, of course. Alright, so this right here is a hookup for a solar battery charger. If you wanted to purchase a Furrion solar battery charger, it would plug in right there, okay? It's just a portable kit type thing. It folds into like a briefcase, sort of, just something with a handle on it. Okay. One last thing when we're looking here, this is your crank for your stabilizers. This small crank right here is for your power tongue jack, and then this doohickey here is for the awning. To, if you have issues with it, you can operate it manually. You'll have to read the directions, or better yet, look at the video while you're doing it if you ever have to do that. They're pretty reliable. You don't have to do it too often if you ever have to. And this is just a reducer to reduce your 30 amp cord down to a 20, so you could plug it in at home, and you know, when you're packing it up or something like that, you can turn the lights on, that sort of thing. Okay, I showed you the crank, the small crank. If you unscrew this cap, it goes in there. Now this is just a regular power tongue jack, up and down, and plus you got a hitch light on it. if it ever fails for any reason, you can take this cap off, put that crank on here, and you can crank it manually. So no matter what happens to it, you can still always get hitched and unhitched. So it's a good feature to have. Now you have 2 LP tanks. They're both full. This is a deep cycle marine battery, which is brand new. And this is the kill switch for your battery right here. If you ever want to shut the battery off, you just twist that to the left and turn it off. Okay? 9 times out of 10 you're going to have it turned on, right? Because when you're pulling it down the road, your tow vehicle's alternator will be charging the battery, and then when you're plugged in at the campground, your power converter will be charging the battery. So it's good to leave it on, except when you put it into storage for a long period of time. Okay, this is just a hose to works with your sprayer ports. Okay, now here we have the rest of the plumbing. So the city water hookup is right here. So basically you're just going to hook the hose on there, turn it on, and you're all set. Now you see you have 3 valves here, 2 gray and 1 black tank valve, right? So this right here is a black tank flush. So after you've dumped your tanks, you can leave the black tank valve open. Then you can hook the water at the dump station right onto here, turn it on, and it'll spray out the inside of your black tank, clean off the sensor so you get a good accurate reading, that sort of thing. So if there's a working hose at the dump station, it's a really good idea to use that black tank's flush each time you dump it. Okay, and this is just a drain right here, low point drain. Alright, so we'll move down. This is your cord, obviously, 30 feet and 30 amp. I showed you get a little reducer with it. This stores right in the trailer, so you just push it in and pull it out as needed. Cable and satellite through, those are just coax hookups. Your water heater is back here. So the thing to know about this is their switch is operated inside the trailer, except right here, this rocker switch in the lower left-hand corner, that controls the electric heating element that's behind this cover here. So you always want to make sure when you're getting ready to use the electricity, you turn this to the on position. The thing to remember is you never turn on that heating element or light the gas without water in the hot water tank. If there's not water in there, you don't turn it on. So keep that in mind, because if you do, it'll burn out the heating element, for example, in a minute or so. It's not the end of the world, but it's something you have to pay to get fixed. So keep that in mind. Right now, this has got water in it, and the whole system is in camping mode. The antifreeze has been purged from the system, replaced with water. The water heater tank is full. It's ready to go. This is the drain for your water tank here. It's also an anode rod, but this is takes an 1 1/16" 6-point socket. So you need that, plus about a 6-inch extension and a bar or ratchet to break it free. That's where you drain it at. Okay. This is the vent for the range hood that's over the range, obviously. It has a fan in it, obviously, and you can vent to the outside. The thing, though, is there's a baffle right here. You can see right now it flaps freely, like you want to when you're venting. Anytime you're venting, you want this flapping freely. But if you're traveling or in storage, you can just snap it shut, right? So it doesn't. But always remember to snap it to free it up so it vents to the outside. Okay. Up there is your backup camera. We'll show you how that operates when you pick up. Also, the manufacturer states that you should inspect your roof every 90 days. So the idea is you're going to check for cracking or separation on any of the sealant. You're going to look to make sure none of the roof attachments were damaged by low branches or road debris, that the roofing material is in good shape. Just give it a good inspection. It's a good thing to do regularly, and it'll keep you ahead of any issue you have. So if there's a problem with your roof, you'll know it, and you're not just going to be unaware of it while it does damage. So inspect it every 90 days. If you see something, have it taken care of immediately. Odds are you can go up there 100 times without having to do anything. You just don't know. That's why you inspect it. Okay, so here we are inside. This is the control panel here. Slide out here, your power awning right here, in and out. So let me just do this for you. There you see it. In and out. Never leave it out unattended. If you're not at the campsite, roll it in. These are both light switches here. Okay, to turn on your water heater with gas, remember I showed you outside in the lower left-hand corner there's the switch for electric. This is where you light it on gas. That's the default button or light right there, just so you know. Also, to turn your water heater on, excuse me, your water pump on, you just that switch right there. Of course, use the water pump to pump fresh water out of the fresh water tank when you don't have city water. You also use it to winterize the trailer. Okay, so battery. You can see, maybe you can see this, but these lights light up in 1/3 increments. Fresh water, so on and so forth. Black, 2 gray tanks, and once you get past 2/3, let's say, on the black and gray tank, you wanna start thinking about dumping it. Okay. Alrighty, so let's move on. So this is your entertainment area, obviously. You have your fireplace, your sound bar, and then your TV. Back here you have the switch to choose the fireplace or the cooktop. This is the digital signal booster for the antenna right here. It should always be green like it is. You could shut it off, but you won't get a good picture if you're using the antenna. So you're always going to keep that turned on when you're using the antenna. This is just telling us it's pre-wired for a Wi-Fi system that consists of a antenna that's on the roof and a router, basically. So it's a signal booster, and if you wanted to add something like that so you got better public Wi-Fi, you can go to kingconnect.com and look at their products. Always go for the one with the antenna on the roof, because the other ones don't work nearly as well. Okay, so this fireplace here, it has quite a few different functions. Right now it's flashing H, which is high. That's the fan speed, right? You can see you can shut it off, shut the fan off, put it on low or high. I'm going to shut it off for now. Whoops. There we go. You have your thermostat up and down. You see it goes up in 5-degree increments, up and down. Okay. You can change the appearance of the crystals, the color of the crystals, I guess you would say. And you also have a timer, so you can set it to turn on and turn off when you want it to. So it does all that. It's a really good space heater. So keep in mind, on those, you have a limited supply of LP, obviously. So on those days where it's not quite cold enough to run the furnace, you can get by using this. It runs on electricity, so you don't use up any of your limited supply of LP, and it'll definitely take the chill out of a large area. So, okay. This sound bar here, it's you basically you have FM radio on this one. You have Bluetooth, so you can stream wirelessly from your phone or tablet. You got a USB to stream off of, pick all your albums on one stick and take them with you. This HDMI is an in, so if let's say you wanted to use a portable Blu-ray player, you go into the system this way, and there's power right there. You can set it right here, for example. So the HDMI is an in. Also, you have 2 speaker zones, 1 and 2. 1 is inside the trailer, 2 is outside the trailer. So it does a lot of things. And it does not have AM radio, though. It just has FM. Alright, so these are obviously just your chairs. But in between here, you can see this panel's held on by 2 screws. Well, you have to keep in mind that that's where the antifreeze is drawn into the system. That's where the hose is, and that's where the water pump is. Just so you know, that's there. Takes a number 2 square-headed screw to unscrew those screws. Over here, with these 2 screws, this panel right here, this is the back of the water heater. So that's where the bypass valves will be when you're winterizing or de-winterizing and bypassing your water heater. Okay? All right. So this device here is your power converter. This converts AC to DC power. So you open it up, so you have AC on this side. You see you have circuit breakers just like you'd see at home. So this is actually a distribution panel, and they're all labeled, right? All the breakers are labeled. Then the power is converted to 12 volt DC on this side, right? So you got 12 volt fuses here, and they're all labeled. So that's where the 12 volt comes from. Now, It's important to keep in mind this is also a battery tender. So as long as you're plugged in, it's going to sense how much energy your battery has and needs, and it'll always keep it charged. If the battery's charged, it'll just trickle a couple amps to maintain it. If it's low, it'll send 10 amps or whatever it needs to keep it charged. So when you're pulling down the road, your tow vehicle's alternator charges the battery, and when you're plugged in, this power converter also charges your battery. Okay? If the 12-volt side ever goes out, like from a power surge or something like that, always look at these 240s first, or the orangish amber fuses there. There's two of them. Those are the masters. Odds are that's where the problem's going to be 9 times out of 10. They're just doing their job, right? Protecting the 12-volt side. So always look there first. And 9 times out of 10, that'll be the issue. Okay? Alrighty. So your refrigerator is just a 12-volt DC refrigerator. I shouldn't say just. It's a 12-volt DC refrigerator. It has a lot of space. The benefit of having this over the gas absorption refrigerator is that there's more space. The gas absorption unit will take up a third of the back of it in a refrigerator. This goes all the way back, so you got more cubic feet inside here. So it's a better option. That runs off 12 volts DC. Always keep this handle or latch like that when you're traveling so you don't dent the doors. This is your microwave. Works like any other microwave. This is the range hood vent I was telling you about. Remember I showed you the vent outside and how you could free up the baffle. So if you can run the fan, you free up the baffle. Right there. It's got a light built into it, of course. This is your range itself. I don't know if you've got the gas turned on, so I will just walk you through it if it's not on. This is the sparker. You turn this clockwise to light it. You have three knobs for 3 burners, right? And then this is your oven knob here. So let's see if he's got anything turned on here. Oops, let me do it this way. Oh yeah, so it's going. There's your. It's that simple. Now when it comes to your oven, there's a pilot light at the bottom all the way to the back. Let me see if I can spark it so you can see it. Sometimes you can see it. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the oven knob. You go to the picture of the flame and depress it. You keep it depressed during the whole lighting procedure, right? So then you'll start sparking it. While you're depressing this, you'll spark this with the other hand until the pilot light back there lights. After it lights, you hold this for another 10 seconds to heat up the thermocouple. Then you just go to operating temperature and it cycles as an oven does. When you shut it off, the flame goes out, but so does the pilot light. So you have to relight the pilot light each time you use the oven. Okay. All the plugs in the trailer are protected by a GFCI. This trailer might have 2 of them. We'll look for them as we go. It definitely has 1. That's in the bathroom, but we'll determine. Sometimes they only have 1 of them. Sometimes there's 2. But the bottom line is, even if you're using the plug outside, it's going to be reset in a POPs. It'll be reset at one of the GFCI in here that have the button to reset it. Okay. Another thing. This is your carbon monoxide LP gas detector right here. It should always be green like it is. If it's not green, get it serviced. If it goes off, you take everybody outside, leave the door open, shut the gas off, figure out what's going on. Okay. That's important, obviously. It should always be green. These are all your literature that comes with the trailer. Your keys are hanging right here on the kitchen sink faucet. Okay, so this will jackknife flat and turn into a bed, right? This one here, you can pull the poles out and then set the tabletop onto these cleats here. You use the cushions to fill in the space and you get another bed. Okay. This is the thermostat. It's very simple. You just hit the mode bar to light it up and then you punch through the different modes. It'll go from fan to air to heat. Fan is just the air conditioner running without the compressor. Cool obviously is full air conditioning, and then heat is your LP furnace. If they give you an option of fan speed, like if it allows you to do auto, always choose auto if they all give you an option when it comes to fan speed. Okay, you got a vent here, of course. The shower works like any other shower. The sink works like any other sink. Here's the GFCI I told you about that you'll reset when one of the other, if something pops in one of the other plugs. All right, so this has been repaired, as you know. It doesn't leak. It's perfect. I mean, it's as repair jobs go. But this comes with it. Apparently, the owner or the previous owner had bought this, and so that you get an extra shower pan with it if you do what you want with it. The toilet, you have to remember that if you don't know RV toilets, you have to have water and chemical in there. There's the flush pedal right there. Okay. Down here is the black tank. So if the black tank's empty, let's say you just get to the campground, you always have to put water and chemical in it. So you'll dump a dose of chemical in there. The water's hooked up so you can step on the pedal and water will come swirling out. You stand on it long enough to put at least a gallon of water in the tank below along with the chemical. Some people use more water, it's up to you, but you can't use it dry. It'll smell terrible, and it also can get clogged up. So you're always going to use water and chemical in there. You don't have to, each time you use it, you don't have to add water. It's just after you dump the black tank and it's empty and you're going to use this again, you got to put water and chemical in there. Okay? Alrighty. And then of course the bedroom area here. You have hookups for a TV and backer plate and single and the rest of it. The bed comes up and there's some storage underneath. And then you have your emergency window here. You're going to push this all the way through. And then you grab a hold of this tab right here and pull the screen out. And you can exit in an emergency out that window. And then of course there's a wardrobe closet here. Okay. Okay, so I think that about covers it. Let me look around to make sure I didn't forget anything. This is the rest of your backup camera. We'll show you how this works when you pick up. This will go in the tow vehicle with you. It's a little screen so you can see what's happening behind you. Let me look around here. I think that's it. So I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. Remember what I said about inspecting the roof every 90 days? People generally don't inspect the roof enough, so it's a good habit to get into. Also, this trailer is in camping mode right now. There's water in the system and water in the water heater tank, and it's ready to be used. Okay? Thank you very much.